Going on YouTube, Cloverbell's here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're gonna finally dip our feet into some Regulation H team building. And throughout the month, we're gonna give you guys some teams to test out and use. So this way, when the format officially starts, you have something and a baseline to go off of, for your Regulation H needs, whether it be tournament play, ladder play, whatever kind of play you need it for. We've got you covered throughout the month of August. So this way, when September rolls around, you've got something to use. All right, so first off, I want to start here with Archaludon. Why? Because we've had a few Regulation H online tournaments already, and the returns are very, very strong for Archaludon this time around. There's not as much fighting types in this format, right? Because you have no more Urshifu, there is no more Iron Hands, and also some of the ground types that were good against Archaludon are not around either. So imagine Landorus, right? So that's good. Now, the only main threat I would say right now, as of today, that Archaludon really needs to worry about is something like the Ursalunas, right? Both of them, whether it be the Blood Moon or whether it be the physical one. So by that logic, I think Tera Grass is just always the way to go for this. And this is also going to give you a way around Amoongus, which also should surge back up into top 3 or even like top 6 popularity, because there's no more Miraidon anymore. So you can sport things, so that means more Amoongus, so that all the more reason to run Tera Grass on the Archaludon. And of course, Grass Terra means you get to resist a lot of these ground types from the Ursaluna, namely the Headlong Rushes and the Earth Powers. Okay, but Archaludon as a whole in the format is really, really good, because again, imagine the core of Incineroar and Rillaboom, and now of course the return of Palafin. Archaludon doesn't really care about any of these guys, right? Because you get to resist all of them, and then at the same time, you have your Electro Shot. And by the way, there's not too much electric stuff going around, right? Now that Miraidon's gone and Iron Hands. So this is your electric type move, and this is good against Palafin, so you can able to just zap this thing and remove it from the board immediately, which is great. Even something like the Paldean Tauros, which is also rising a little bit more now, because, we need more fighting types. And this is as close to a quote-unquote Urshifu typing as you're going to get. Okay, maybe you might see Quaquaval later on. I don't know about that one, but maybe. You never know. In this format, there's a lot more room for variance, and there's a lot more play for some of these lesser Pokemon that, didn't really get to come out and play in the restricted formats, right? So I do like Archaludon against the main kind of cores that's running around right now. So now the question is, how do we support this thing? Okay, and then from there, what other pieces can we put to help us cover our bases for other specific matchups? All right, so first up, I want to take a look at the tournament data and just show you what people have been using with Archaludon, and just understand the nuances of what you can use with this Pokemon as far as like the start of Regulation H is concerned. All right, so let's head back into the Limitless tournament page and let's see what has taken place thus far. Okay, so this is the Beanie Brawl tour that happened last night. It was probably, it was the biggest Regulation H tournament today so far. Again, 78 people joined in. That's a large number. And then there's another one later today, the Nino Pokebro. So that's probably going to be even bigger. But, 78 for a format that's been out for a day, or not even out, just like announced. This is a good baseline to go off. Look at this. Look at the top 5 teams here. 1, 2, not third place, 4 and 5. So 4 of the 5 top teams all had an Archaludon, and that is not a coincidence, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that means this Pokemon is good. So let's take a look at a lot of these cores here, but you can pretty much see the common baseline with some of these options. But let's look at the winning team here from Taylor Nicholas. He's got Incin, Amoongus, Pelipper, Archaludon. Yeah, I think that's a very, very good starting core, and you'll see that in a lot of these teams. So let's go ahead and add that there. I like that core a lot. So Incin, Amoongus, and then your water type, of course, is going to be Pelipper. Again, Pelipper, the use of this is, of course, with Rain. You don't have to charge up your Electro Shot a turn. You can just immediately fire it. Of course, we know how Archaludon works. So I think this is always going to be like a good starting point for any kind of Archaludon team right now in the beginning of Regulation H. And then here, he's rounding it out with Goldengo, Nasty Plot Goldengo, and Rillaboom here. Of course, good solid fire water grass core here with Incin, Rilla, and then a water type here with Pelipper. So I like this a lot. And then Goldengo goes crazy in Regulation F. Goldengo will get its own video soon as we talk more about it. But, you know, there's no more Flutter Mane, no Calyrex, so Gholdengo looks really good again. And then, of course, you get immunity to Spore, which is quite nice. So, more special attack damage pressure, especially with Nasty Plot. Set up double Fake Out and Redirection to help you do that. And then you have Tailwind from the Pelipper, so Gholdengo looks really good here. And then Tailwind for Archaludon also looks really nice, because then under Tailwind you get to outspeed the entire format. And then even under Trick Room, this team looks really good because, again, Archaludon is pretty slow. Amoongus is also going to have good options in Trick Room, of course, because you get to be the slowest thing. But, you know, this is pretty standard, and I like this a lot. This is Miracle Seed Rillaboom, going to do a lot of damage. That's because the Assault Vest is on there. Archaludon. Body Press, of course, that's your fighting type move. Electro Shot, that's your electric type. Okay, because we don't have too many of those at the moment, or not as much as we did have previously with the bans going out. So I like this set with Archaludon. Now, what's really cool here is the Snarl Tech, which is great in the mirror matchup and great overall against other Gholdengos, other Blood Moon Ursalunas. They don't want to be taking Snarls, so that's really nice. And then you have physical damage mitigation here with the Incineroar, so that's going to keep Archaludon around for a lot longer, because now you're combining physical damage reduction along with special attack damage reduction with Snarl, and you have the Assault Vest. So I really like this from Taylor and Nick, so shout outs to them. You know, good, smart tech choice there. All right, and of course, Pelipper now gets to have Tailwind again. Okay, we haven't talked about this yet, but, you know, Pelipper's now, you know, you might see them drop the Wide Guard a little bit, and up for the Tailwind, but you can still have good situations where Wide Guard is helpful against, you know, something like Size Spam stuff, you know, Expanding Force shenanigans. That's still going to be useful, but not as much as before. But we'll have to wait and see how the format progresses. Again, you know, this is still pretty good against Hyper Voice, Blood Moon Ursaluna, and then Pelipper also does great damage into the Blood Moon Ursaluna, forcing it to Tera. So you can put pressure that way with your water type. So I like this. Then as we move down here, Miggle, one of our viewers, one of the people that we've been coaching throughout the year, he also came in strong here. Second place, almost took the whole thing, just one game short against Taylor here, but he's running the typical body press stuff, again, with Dragon Pulse, Electroshock, Flash Cannon. You know, again, another Assault Vest, Archaludon, Incin, Amoongus, Pelipper. Again, that same cord that we just put on our team builder. All right, that's still good. And then the Whimsicott here, it has the Encore light screen setup. So this is something that was used a lot back in, you know, of course, the Regulation G. Again, I say back in Regulation G. We're still in Regulation G, but, you know, a lot more people, if you're not playing in the Worlds Championships, you know, they're starting to build for Regulation H, or if you're not even playing in your locals for Regulation G to try and earn some CP, yeah, this is what you're prepping for. But this is a Regulation H Whimsicott set, but it can also be pretty good here in Regulation H. I said H, I meant G before, but Light Screen is going to be the Snarl tech that you saw from Taylor's team. So again, more special attack damage reduction, Encore to lock Pokemon into fake outs potentially, or other setup moves so they don't even get to attack. So that's going to be useful and annoying to deal with. And then everything else is pretty standard. Now, what's really cool is Basculegion, and I like that a lot. We're probably going to use that because now, not only do you have the special attack damage pressure, now you have the physical damage pressure. And Basculegion looks really good again in this format because, again, power creep is down. Okay, and Swift Swim is great for Basculegion. You can outspeed a lot of different things, and there's no Calyrex running around. So I do expect Basculegion to have great usage this format. So this is a nice way to capitalize on this. And then you'll go back and forth with Basculegion and Palafin, right? And I do expect that. That might even be another video later on, like, you know, comparing the two on some of these Pelipper type teams, you know, Palafin versus Basculegion. But this is good. All right, so instead of Gholdengo, your ghost type in the rain is going to be your Basculegion, so I like that as well. So that's good stuff there from Miggle. How about this one in fourth place here? Rain Candy Luca. Okay, so Archaludon, Pelipper, Incin, no Amoongus, but we do have Rillaboom, and there's the Palafin, right? So instead of the Basculegion, again, you can opt for the Palafin. This also makes sense. How about Flamigo here? Again, Scrappy, again, and, you know, just Tera type fighting. So here's, again, when I said lack of fighting types, now people are just going to be trying and stretching things out and trying to find a decent fighting type, you know, whether it be the Paldean Tauroses. Flamigo's another one. Okay, we have some fighting types, but just not as much as we used to. But this is another cool team. This is another Wide Guard user, which is great. And then there's your Tailwind user in Pelipper. So Weather Ball, Hurricane, Tailwind, Protect, right? So your Wide Guard is here on the Flamigo, so this makes sense. But again, expect to see more Pelipper Tailwinds this time around. So I like this a lot. Again, standard Archaludon set here. And same thing with Rillaboom. Instead of AV, we're going for more damage here. So Metal Plate, Grassy Plate, whatever it is. So that's good there. How about this last place? Not last place. How about the 5th place team? Schneip here. So again, similar core, Pelipper, Archaludon, Incin, grass type, Rillaboom / Amoongus. So there's your formula, right? And then your last 2 slots, okay, is either going to be a strong water type like either Palafin or Basculegion, okay? And then your flex slot here. And they chose Dragapult here. I feel like in this slot, you can put a dragon type like Dragonite, or in this case, Dragapult, and even, what's that other one? Basculegion, right? So Basculegion, Dragapult, Dragonite, I think they all work on a team like this. So you'll see some double Dragon cores a little bit more in Regulation F. And here's another one. So Dragapult hasn't seen a lot of play since, maybe 2 formats ago. With good reason. It's a ghost type. Fluttermane destroys it. Calyrex destroys it. But those guys are gone now, right? So now Dragapult gets to come back and play a little bit. It doesn't have Chien-Pao anymore, but doesn't need it, okay? Because Dragapult has done well without Chien-Pao, somewhat to a degree, right? It just helped to do more. But this is a special variant, right? With Meteor, Dragon Pulse, and Shadow Ball using. So, this is interesting, right? This is Specs Dragapult, special variant. Okay, interesting choice there. But again, Pelipper, Tailwind, Rillaboom, Miracle Seed, because Assault Vest is on the Archaludon, Instant Standard Set, Palafin, Haze. Again, Haze, really, really nice this time around, to remove, Dondozo buffs. So I like this. And, just your flex slot here is a Dragapult. So again, you can kind of see the familiar formula going on with these Archaludon teams. Then if we go into a smaller tour, right, it's called regulationH Gaming. Okay, and again, only about 19 people on this one. That's because, again, format's still very, very new. Look at this. Again, 2 more teams here. Archaludon taking 1 and 2. So Archaludon, doing really well in all these terms. Not just winning, but also getting, high placements besides first place. But again, same core. Pelipper, Archaludon, Incin. Give me the grass type. In this case, Amoongus versus Rillaboom. Give me the strong water type. In this case, Basculegion versus Palafin. And then give me a dragon type, okay? Instead of Dragapult, we've got Basculegion. There's the core, right? There's your starting core, all right? I laid out the formula for you guys. So, very, very standard stuff. So here we have Weather Ball, Hurricane, and Wide Guard. No Tailwind here, but maybe not needed because, here's your Basculegion in the fast mode. So that's okay. And then this is set up Basculegion with Swords Dance. So I like this a lot. Sludge Bomb is also going to be pretty nice this time around too. Just because a little bit more grass types running around, and then of course Terra Fairy options, they're a little bit annoying. So I like that. So Donk, great job to you, 6 and 1, good results. How about here, Lucas? This one is a little bit different, but similar course here. Pelipper, Palafin, Archaludon. Again, here's your dominant water type, and then here's your grass type, Rillaboom here. But how about Mouse Ape being slapped onto this core? With Archaludon here, it makes a lot of sense because now look at this. Beat Up works not just with Annihilate, for Rage Fist, but also works with Archaludon. Why? Because remember, every time Archaludon takes chip damage, you get defense boost, right? So some people used to try this a little bit with Whimsicott about 2 regulations ago. You'll probably see a little bit of that, as the format progresses, but Mousehold's really good now as well doing that because, Beat Up into Archaludon, now all of a sudden Body Press becomes really, really strong. So that's really, really nice. And then at the same time, you get Friend Guard, right? So Friend Guard's going to make Archaludon stay on the field for a little bit longer. And you might see some back and forth play a little bit with Clefairy, but I think Mousehold is quite good now, especially with Annihilate, coming back to fruition here. This is an art type in itself. You're able to slap it onto a 4-man core like this, and it just works, right? So this is really nice. I like this a lot. Smart building here, using or taking advantage of Beat Up Mousehold with Archaludon. I like that. So you've got some ideas, right? So now it's up to you how you want to use the formula, but we're going to go back here to team building and we're going to give you guys our take on Archaludon right now today. Okay, so I think for our dominant water type, whether it be Palafin or Basculegion, I do like Basculegion here. And I think Palafin will merit its own video later on, but I do like this core, right? So you have a special attack damage dealer, and you have a physical sweeper. So you got some good balance here. And then here's your supporting core with Incin, Amoongus, your defensive backbone here. Pelipper also kind of in the middle, also able to deal some damage, but also just mainly here to support this core, especially with Tailwind stuff. And setting the rain for both Archaludon and Basculegion to do what they need to do, right? So this last slot here, this is your flex slot. You can easily add another dragon type here, but I'm gonna add something else here. I'm gonna add Farigiraf, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because now I have the option, not just for Trick Room, but again, I get to deny priority. So imagine Rillaboom, Palafin, and Incineroar, right? Jet Punches, grassy glides, fake outs, all of these priority moves, you slap on Farigiraf and none of that is usable anymore. So that's good. And you know, your Basculegion doesn't want to be taking grassy glides, right? So that's also going to help very, very much. And you know, the fake out stuff, you know, you really want your Tailwind to get going on your Pelipper, so you don't want to do that. So a Farigiraf on switching does look nice. And then at the same time, you get access to Helping Hand here. And, you know, Helping Hand Basculegion, Helping Hand into Archaludon is going to do a lot of damage. So I like this. Let's get some spread damage here with Hyper Voice. Okay, and then that's Hyper Beam. All right, and then down here, let's go Psychic for now. I think Psychic, you know, just having that move against Amoongus is going to help a lot. And, you know, a lot of things, if they want to resist Body Press, they're going to go for Terra Poison, which is good for Farigiraf because, again, we get to click Psychic into that. What just happened? Oh, I lost the Archaludon. Oops. Okay, let me put that right back here. All right, so, but yeah, I do like this. And then we get a Trick Room mode, so Archaludon can function both in Trick Room and Tailwind. So I think that's really, really nice and solid overall. You can also do like instant Farigiraf leads, you know, just do fake out Trick Room stuff and then reposition out into Archaludon with Parting Shot, right? So let's go ahead. Let's round out the rest of this team here. So Pelipper, we're going to go, of course, Weather Ball, great damage in the rain, good damage into Bloodmoon Ursaluna, good damage into Ensign. Then, of course, Hurricane, Amoongus, and Rillaboom, they don't want to be taking that either. And then we'll just go with Protect here, and then here we'll give this a Focus Sash here, right? So lift to tail to tail. Now, again, you can opt for the Wide Guard here, right? If you want to do that, you can very much do so, okay? I think you do have to give up Protect. I think the rest of the moves are important. Now, you don't have to go Tailwind here. You can even just do it like this, actually, right? And just say, let Basculegion be my fast mode. Archaludon, let this be the Trick Room mode, right? You can definitely do that. And that's totally fine. But for what I was testing, I was going with Tailwind, and I'm going to go with Protect here. I haven't run into too many Side Spam teams yet, so I would expect later on this might have to go into Wide Guard, so we'll see. But as of today, right now, you know, with the format being 2 days old, I think this is still like a decent starting point. All right, Archaludon, we mentioned Tera Grass, and then, of course, this is getting the Assault Vest. You know, again, Electro Shot in the rain is really strong. Flash Cannon, Draco Meteor, your 2 stab moves, your big nuke, and then, of course, Body Press when you do take the occasional chip damage. All right, Instant, I do like Safety Goggles against other Amoongus. Intimidate, of course, is really, really good. Terra Ghost, again, really solid. Get to whiff the fighting moves against it. Something like Annihilate, right? So imagine that. Or other Body Presses coming from Kamo or Archaludon altogether. So yeah, think about it like that. Fake Out, Knockoff, removing key items on Pokemon like Dondozo and Archaludon is going to be huge this format. So Knockoff having great value. Then Will-O-Wisp, burning a Dondozo is going to be important. Burning some of these other physical attackers also good, will be nice moving forward. So I think that's important. And then, you know, you have a couple moves here. Fake Out, Knockoff, Will-O-Wisp, and then, of course, the last one is going to be Parting Shot, you know, without a doubt. Amoongus stays pretty standard here. Now, I will say Rage Powder, Pollen Puff, and Spore, of course. Now, this move down here, you might have to go Clear Smog later if there's a lot more Dondozo, I would say. So you do have to consider that. But if you just burn it, then it's okay. But just be aware, you might have to go Clear Smog at some point. Maybe even give a Pollen Puff later on. But as of today, I think this is still okay. I have been testing Rocky Helmet / Citrus Berry. Citrus Berry having more value now, not that the Calorexes are gone. So, you know, feel free to put the berry back here. But I think Rocky Helmet Amoongus still has good value overall. Now, that being said, you can, do a little bit of mixing and matching. Like this can be the Citrus Berry set, and this can have the Rocky Helmet, right? But because we're a little bit more offensive, I decided to go Throat Spray here, just because I have Hyper Voice and Psychic, and just make this thing a little bit more offensive, because to have Archaludon only be like your strong special attacker besides Pelipper, I think we need a little bit more. So I think having Furgraph here is quite nice. And then Basculegion being your strong physical sweeper in the endgame stuff, right? So that's just my take on it. But yeah, so in this case, Safety Goggles here on Incin, Rocky Helmet here. Again, you can put Citrus Berry if you like that a little bit more, up to you. And then, of course, Basculegion. I do like Life Orb more versus Band, just because I like having Protect. And then from here, Wave Crash, Last Respects is the signature move for this thing. And then I do like Aqua Jet, just having a last minute, priority move to pick up a key KO in case something outspeeds you, whether it be Tailwind or Trick Room. I think, Aqua Jet, Life Orb in the rain is going to be quite nice. I think Terra Water is also really good. Just have Basculegion do big damage is going to be solid overall. Okay, Terra options. Amoongus in the rain, Grass type getting reduced damage against Fire types is going to be good. I do think just straight up Terra Water is going to be solid. And then for Furgraph here, same thing. Also Terra Water, for the Palafin matchup, you can also technically go Terra Fairy here if you so wish. But I think Furgraph, with the Terra Water, being able to resist Palafin, Wave Crashes or Basculegion Wave Crashes is going to be quite useful later on in the format. So I do like this. But yeah, this is it. So now let's go ahead and let's start putting some EV spreads here, and let's start testing out the team on ladder. Okay, so with Pelipper having the Sash here, I think this is the easiest one to do. I just went straight Timid 252, 252. No questions asked here. And then, just keep intact. Keep in mind some speed tiers here for regulationH. So like the fact that Timid Pelipper hits 128. So you might have to consider some threats going to 129 just to outspeed a Timid Pelipper. And if it's not Timid, if it's modest, 118 is another baseline, benchmark there that you want to try and EV for, all things considered, right? Archaludon. So the main thing here, we're going to go modest, okay? We're going to have some bulk on this thing. The speed that I want is 115, believe it or not. Why? Because this is going to outspeed Blood Moon, Ursaluna that are going max speed Timid on those Tailwind teams, right? So Blood Moon caps at 114. Let's outspeed it. Let's go to 115. I know we have Tera Grass available, but why waste that when I can probably have a chance at KOing it depending on chip damage and not have to waste my Grass Tera. But, you do have it available if you need it. So there's that. But I think having a little bit of a faster Archaludon is also going to be good later on. That being said, we're not going to have too much special attack on this thing. 36 is all I'm going to put, but actually I'm going to go 1 point more just because, the +1 boost from Electro Shot. I want a nice solid even number. I don't want any odd numbers. Otherwise, that odd number times 1.5 will give me a decimal. And remember, in competitive Pokemon, things round down. So we don't want that, okay? So we'll just go to the first bump here and then just go 1 point more just to get that nice solid even number. And again, if you're trying to create EV spreads, right, and you're not sure how to do them, and you're still learning, because you're a newer player, make sure you comment in the video below asking what are EV bumps, because in all my team building videos, I always like to hit these bumps and these benchmarks because they're very important and very fundamental in terms of, creating basic EV spreads to test and use right away if you're, just playing casually or even competitively regardless, right? So comment what are EV bumps and I will respond to you. So this way it's a little bit more clear, and then this way you can use that information in creating EV spreads for your Pokemon. All right. Anyway, we hit the first bump here. So then moving forward, I just went to 192 HP benchmark here, right? 212 investment. Why? This is a nice number against Rillaboom grassy terrain stuff. It'll give you optimal recovery because remember, Rillaboom grassy terrain is 1/16 of your max HP. And if you do 192 divided by 16, it's a factor of 16. That'll give you a perfect 12. So you're going to get perfect 12 recovery of HP per turn. So I do like that a lot. And then from here, just 2 points here in the defense because, Archaludon's defense is already really strong, and we're going to get more defense as we take more chip damage with Body Press. I do want to invest a lot more in this special defense department. So I'm going to invest more here So this way, the number for our Spadef, it looks a little bit more promising with the Assault Vest, right? And again, focusing on that nice solid even number. Again, if this is an odd number with the 1.5 from the Assault Vest, it rounds down because you're getting a decimal. Let's go for that even number. And this is going to be a decent roll against Blood Moon, Ursaluna, Earth Power without the Tera, right? And, you know, you have to play it a little bit, you know, if they are max special attack versus if they're not, if they're just like maybe 196 and they have some bulk. So keep that in mind. You know, they may be timid. Okay, so if I even show you some of those calcs here, so let's look at Archaludon, let's look at Blood Moon, Ursaluna. Like if they are that timid set, you know, timid Life Orb 252, you know, with those Tailwind teams, then you're in business, right? You're gonna live that Earth Power, which is what I calced for. Now, if they are modest, okay, then it's a bit of a roll, right? But look, 37% chance, not like, you know, full confidence, but it's still favorable for you, right? So, and again, you still have Grass Tera available to you. So, you know, take that for what you will, but at the very least, you will survive the timid stuff, right? And then from there, again, we just said, you know, we're going to be ramping up our special attack damage. So we just need a little bit of investment there. Power creep is much lower. Things are not as bulkier. So I do like this a little bit from Archaludon this time around. And again, we also have Helping Hand on our Furgraph. So that's also going to help nice. Incin here, you know, I just keep my Incins relatively standard here. You know, I'm not going to go too crazy on Incin right now. You know, just slap on a pretty standard set here. Let's go to the second benchmark here, 156. The second bump there. Put a little bit of speed. I would say 36 just to outspeed base 100s on their Tailwind. 1 point in attack. We don't need attack on Incin, and then the rest just goes into physical defense like this. Now, if there's other calcs later on that we need to worry about, like maybe, you know, jet punches from Palafin, I guess we can account for that. You know, we can consider that. You know, we will. But right now, the careful standard Incin set is the way to go at the moment. Okay. Amoongus here. So, you know, Amoongus, I still like Relax Nature, you know, just to give me that nice solid physical defense boost. Again, 0 speed, you know, so this way we're the fastest thing in Trick Room. Let's go to 219 HP benchmark here for a few reasons. Why? That's good for Annihilate Final Gambit, but there's less of that this time around. I think they're going just leftovers, you know, Bulk Up, Drain Punch, and what's that other move? Its signature move, Rage Fist, right? So there's still that, more of that, I think, right? But there's still the off chance for those Final Gambit and Annihilate still running around. So just in case, either way, it doesn't matter. It's still optimal for Regenerator because, again, 1/3 of your max HP. So again, if you do 219, you know, times a third, you're going to get a perfect 73 recovery, you know, when you switch it out, right? Anything else, whether you get 218 or 220, that'll give you a decimal. We don't want that, right? We want nice, solid whole numbers when we get our recovery. Sit the second benchmark here with the Amoongus, and then just dump the rest here into physical defense. Nothing else really needs to be said with Amoongus. It's just a bulky mushroom, right? Basculegion. So in terms of this, I still like Adamant Nature. You might have to go Jolly, depending on if Basculegion is super popular and you need to outspeed the mirror. But, you know, at least by going Adamant with some speed investment, you can at least play yourself in Trick Room and not necessarily need Tailwind. So, one thing to keep in mind, you know, I do like having Basculegion a little bit faster than, you know, Blood Moon Ursaluna, but I don't want to speed time my Archaludon, right? So, at the very least, I'm going to make this 1 point faster. So this way, I know my Basculegion will outspeed my Archaludon by 1 point here, right? And then it actually works out, right? If we just go max attack here, and then we optimize the Life Orb chip, which is about 108 HP like this. So again, you want to always end in the 9 when you have the Life Orb. So this way, it'll optimize your chip damage against yourself 1/10, right? So if you have 210 here, 210 divided by 1/10, right? That's 21 HP of chip damage from Life Orb. But if you go 209 here, 20.9 rounds down to 20, right? So you're only taking 20 points of Life Orb chip. So I get to reduce how much chip damage I'm taking. And then look at this. I got 8 EVs left. Let's put 1 point in the bulk. And that's it. We rounded out our Basculegion Adamant set here, right? Again, meant to outspeed Blood Moon or Ursaluna, but at the same time, not speed tying our Archaludon. All right. For Rigraff, the last one here. So 1 point in speed. I'm not making this super fast. Again, modest nature because we want to be a little bit threatening with the throat spray. I will boost this up a little bit. I will go to the third bump here to 236, hitting that nice even number mark after that throat spray. And then what I really liked was hitting this 100 mark here to 208. Again, that's for Rillaboom grassy terrain. It's a step above 192, right? So 192 plus 16 gives you 208, another factor of 16. But this 132 defense here, this is going to be good against Palafin Wave Crash with Mystic Water after Intimidate, right? So you get to survive that, which is good. Okay, then the leftovers just goes here into special defense, and that's it. It's just a bulky Ferrograph here on the physical end, right? Now, you might change this later depending on, you know, if some other special attacks attack users rise. Now, Blood Moon can pretty much destroy this thing, but you have ways around that. And again, you get to outspeed the Blood Moon anyway. So, you know, just keep that in mind, of course. And you can also go Tera Grass here, by the way, which is great in the rain. And then at the same time, you get to avoid Amoongus shenanigans getting spored. So I think that's also good. I think that might be better this time, you know, for Ferrograph as opposed to Water. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But at least this is a good starting point for an Archaludon squad, right? So if I just put this on the screen here. So again, you've got a Tailwind mode, you got a Trick Room mode. Basculegion is your late game sweeper, which is nice. You can start off early with some good chip damage with Archaludon, and then, you know, support as you go with Amoongus or Incin. You can even start strong with Basculegion, deal a whole bunch of chip damage early on, you know, with hard-hitting wave crashes, and then maybe clean things up in the late game with stuff like, you know, Ferrograph Archaludon or even Pelipper Archaludon stuff, right? So it all depends on how you like to play some matchups or what each matchup calls for. But I think this is a very good general starting point for where we are right now, given how early it is in Regulation H. All right, so let's test the team a little bit. Let's see how it works out in some ladder games, and then we'll talk about it, you know, at the end. Okay, so there's his team. All right, so this player has Ferrograph, Blood Moon, Ursaluna. There's an Amoongus, so good starting Trick Room core. He's also got Hydreigon here. Hydreigon will be a threat again in Regulation H. We talked about this in my announcement video. You know, Dark Pulse Pressure along with Tailwind and access also to Snarl is going to be good, especially when Goldango's running around, right? So I do think Hydreigon will be strong yet again. And of course, again, snarling Archaludon is not good, so we have to be careful there, but we do have access to a fighting move called Body Press. So that's good for us. So let's take a look on how he decides to do this. There's a Volbeat here. I'm not really sure what Volbeat is supposed to do on a team like this, but I'm just going to lead Instant Ferrograph. Let's play it safe early on. He's going to lead his own Ferrograph. He's going to have Volbeat here. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do when I was playing this, but I took for it as I went. So there's Tail Glow. Okay, that's a nice special attack boost. I wanted to remove the Ferrograph item, which was the berry in this case. So now we get some good aggression here with Hyper Voice. We get our special attack boost going. Goes Trick Room here. That's fine by me. Now he's going Baton Pass into Ursaluna. That's pretty cool. I like that concept, but I think that's more of a best of one ladder gimmick. So now we get to Parting Shot out and go into our Archaludon, which is not great for Ursaluna, but we do have Tera Grass, right? Goes for Psych up there. He actually just nukes the Ferrograph anyway. Doesn't care for the Archaludon, which is fine. I'll just take the Ferrograph in exchange, right? So equal KOs there. He goes back into Volbeat. I'm going to go Incin. I get to stall another turn of Trick Room here, right? We just get to fake out the Ursaluna, which is nice. But he protects the Volbeat, and I called this wrong a little bit. So, yeah, one turn of Trick Room left. He encores me and gets to remove my Incin with Earth Power. That's not good. And all I can really do is click Flash Cannon here. So Basculegion has to clean up here in the end game. He goes for Tail Glow here. I tried to Wave Crash, right? So I hit the Serena, which is nice. And Serena's going to put pressure on Basculegion, which is not good for me. So I'm going to have to at least protect this turn and, you know, just try and chip the Serena. And he, of course, goes for the Basculegion here. And he actually doubles the slot here. Doesn't care for the Archaludon, which is fine. But now Basculegion can just remove the Ursaluna, which is fine. And now, even if Serena removes the Basculegion now, it's okay. But I end up being faster anyway. So this Serena was actually super, super slow. So I don't know about that call, but they went for it. Otherwise, Archaludon would have had to do 2v1, which it could have definitely done, you know, considering that it was a grass type and we were going to remove that Blood Moon Ursaluna. Or, you know, the Serena was not going to touch it. So, you know, good win there. Okay, this is a Mouse Ape core, and he's got Comfey here, along with Sinistra. So he's got a lot of healing here. Rillaboom and King Gambit. A little bit questionable team building, but I understand a lot of these Pokemon. Okay, but of course, Mouse Ape looks really good. I don't know if you need 2 defined users. You know, I think 1 is enough, right? But I do expect that Mouse Ape leave, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So Beat Up Potential is there. Follow Me is there for Drain Punch. I'm sorry, for bulk up plays. So I end up getting this wrong. So I wanted to Spore the Annihilate, but I do get this wrong. So this is not good news for me. But fortunately, that Annihilate is actually pretty slow. And he goes for Rage Fist. I do live, and at the time I was Citrus Berry, and I do get the Spore, but he has the Lump Berry, so that's not good news for me. Usually they're leftovers, but in this case, yeah. So I was just willing to take the KO, you know, against Mousehole, but he protected there, and he does get rid of my Amoongus. So right now he's playing better, okay, but we do have Pelipper now, and now we have access to Tailwind here. He's going to go into Comfey for some reason. I'm not sure why, but he did do it. And I just wanted to get my Electro Shots going. I wanted to remove the Mousehole more than anything, right? Annihilate going for Rage Fist, not the end of the world. I knew I could take one. Even if you went for, you know, the Drain Punch stuff, I still would have been fine. Hurricane doesn't remove Annihilate there, but we do get to remove the Comfey, which is nice. Otherwise, the healing would have been annoying. And he actually hits himself in Confusion, which, benefits me. Now it's Rillaboom. That's not good for him either. I'm going to go Tera Ghost here. He goes for Fake Out. There's the Tera Ghost on Pelipper. We go Hurricane here. That looks like Assault Vest because we don't get the KO there. But we do outspeed Annihilate, and now we can just remove it. And now we should be fine. We're in the driver's seat. He has really nothing left. All he really has is just a Mousehole and a Rillaboom, and that's not going to win him anything. So all he can do is just follow me here. I'm going to take out the Mousehole, obviously, and now I can just literally click Electro Shot and just finish off the Rillaboom because I am +2 even though he is resisted. So, you know, Mousehole teams, a little bit interesting. Amoongus is great, just so that you can redirect the beat up. And then from there, just, focus on removing the Mousehole. Okay, this one is against Basculegion, Goldango stuff. And there's the Paldean Tauros, right? The water fighting type. So Archaludon looks really good here if I can get off that Electro Shot. I also have Flash Cannon against, the Clefairy Bull and the Basculegion. Also have Body Press there. Volcarona, again, not looking great in the rain against Pelipper, Basculegion stuff. So we have some plays for this. Okay, so I'm just going to go Pelipper. I'm going to go Archaludon, which means my Basculegion is going to be the late game sweeper in the end. He's going to go Bax Rillaboom, which is fine by me. Okay, because now guess what I have in the back? I do have Ferrograph here in case he wants to do Grassy Glide Fake Out stuff, which is exactly what he wanted to do. I'm going to Hurricane the Rillaboom. That looks like Assault Vest to me. Crash into Pelipper, not so great. But again, I did have a Sash regardless, right? So let's go into Archaludon. I want to soak up the Grass move one more time. He goes Glade Rush there into Ferrograph. There's Woodhammer. That's good for me. Minimal chip. I get a defense boost, which means Body Press looks pretty good right now. And then I do get Trick Room. And of course, I'm getting Grassy Terrain Recovery, right? So thank you, Rillaboom. Okay, he's going to go into Goldango here. Maybe afraid of the Body Press here, but I just want to get my special attack up. So Hyper Voice, not going to do anything. Of course, there's a Goldango. It's a Ghost type. Okay. And now we'll see what Basculegion does here. He ends up doing that Terra Poison idea, right? So I just wanted to remove Goldango, right? Because that was the main threat, in my opinion, to Basculegion, right? Other than that, we can remove everything. I know there's a Rillaboom in the back, which is not good for Basculegion, right? So that's okay, but we can remove Rillaboom with what we have left here. So there's Pelipper again. He goes Paldean Tauros, which is fine by me. He actually just double protects here, probably just wanting to stall one more turn of rain, which I don't have a problem with because, again, I'm able to... I still have... +1 defense on this Archaludon, and I have Body Press potential. I'm just going to go Basculegion here, okay? He's going to go Rillaboom. That's fine by me. Again, giving the terrain back. Ice Shard, I get to live because I switched out the Pelipper. I missed the Draco, unfortunately, for me. I probably should have just went with my Electro Shot, but, I end up not paying the price here. But, again, pressuring my Basculegion with this Grass type, that's okay. Now I can remove the Rillaboom here, and now there's nothing really threatening the Basculegion anymore, right? And the rain is gone, so all I have to do is just switch on my Pelipper and get Basculegion back in later on. So I'm already Intimidate, so that's all more reason to get back into Pelipper. Okay, he goes for close combat. Great move there, but I already had 2 defense boosts, so, I do live that easily, and he does decide to double in. I'm very fortunate that I do live this, right? So that's great. Now I get to just get a free Electro Shot into the Tauros, so there goes that. And of course, Basculegion can't do everything by himself. He's going to have to, but 3v1 is too much there. We get another Confusion there, right? But Archaludon does go down here, but again, did its job. Now we clean up in the end game with Basculegion, and there's nothing else you can really do except forfeit because Basculegion was killing everything, whether it be Aqua Jet or Last Respects in the rain. Doesn't matter, or Wave Crash. Okay, this one's actually a pretty cool team. I like it. It's Instant Palafin, Amoongus, right? Then he's got the Blood Moon Ursaluna Ferrograph Core. And then he's got combo here. Iron Defense Body Press is going to be very, very annoying to deal with. So I like his team. He just didn't really play it that well, as you'll see here. So he goes Blood Moon Ursaluna, and he goes Palafin here. You know, I was expecting this to switch out, you know, into something like Ferrograph maybe, or even like combo here. But he keeps it on, right? He Jet Punches the Pelipper as if that was going to do anything. He tears the Ursalunas, which is good, because I didn't tear my Archaludon, okay? I just wanted to nuke the Palafin, right? He could have easily killed this thing, but he actually just goes for the Pelipper instead of the Archaludon, maybe anticipating Tera Grass for me. But yeah, now we go into Basculegion in the rain. There's Amoongus, that's very good for him, right? So, but we have Tera Grass available. We don't care about Amoongus, which means I can remove this Ursaluna. I know I outspeeded even if he was max speed. So I have nothing to worry about here. And he Terra Normal, which means he's not a ground type anymore. And we just removed the Ursaluna. So now he has nothing left and he has no choice but to forfeit after turn 2, right? All right, so those were some of the games. So again, you know, you get to see some of these leads that you can do. Pelipper, Archaludon with Basculegion in the end game is going to be really, really nice. You can lead a little bit more passive early on. You could do like Instant Ferrograph, or you could do you know, Instant Pelipper, you could do Instant Basculegion. Either way, you can always reposition later on, you know, depending on how or when you click your parting shot and pivot out. But you can either lead strong with Basculegion or close the game with Basculegion. That's my take on it. And then same thing with Archaludon, right? You could just simply lead Archaludon Ferrograph, and then with Pelipper in the back, along with Basculegion. You can do that too, you know, depending on the matchup, right? And maybe even leave the Instant Amoongus back going home. But they do have good value, so just make sure you capitalize on it. But, you know, I feel like as a starting core for where we are, this is something that's going to be solid and consistent, you know, with regulationH. And again, don't forget about some of those cores that I showed you, right? So even if you don't like this 6, maybe you like another 6, but I do think the Pelipper, Archaludon, plus water type core with either Basculegion or Palafin is a great way to start. Grass type with Amoongus or Rillaboom is solid. Instant, very strong, obviously. And then close things out with some other flex slot if you don't like Ferrograph either, right? So anyway, that's it. So let me know what you think of Archaludon in regulationH. Let me know what you've tried so far with it. Okay, maybe you're a fan of the mouse hold beat up stuff with Archaludon. That was also a pretty cool team that we saw. But anyway, we'll be back with another team building video in the next one. Potentially also some regulationG content because, you know, we still have Reg G. Okay, there's still something to play for. There's still tournaments and locals and mid-season challenges. I'm still calling it those, by the way. So we'll still mix in our Reg G content with our Reg H content as well for this final month. But if you need help team building and you need something for regulationH in September, make sure you sign up for team building on the channel. If you look in the video description below, as well as the pinned comment in the video, every video has a pinned comment. There is a link to join the channel with the tier 3 sub, and with this tier 3 sub, you get to schedule a one-on-one team building session with me where we get to build the team together just like this. We construct it, we hash out the EVs, maybe do a couple of damage costs. We test out the team a little bit as well if you need to. But if that is something you're interested in, tier 3 sub on the channel gets that. So make sure you do it because sessions are going quick. Okay, some people have already been asking me. So, but that's it. We'll be back with another video in the next one. Peace out and have a good one.